Okay, for me, if you want to start buying drugstore and luxury products, I think don't really follow the trend.
Hi everyone, welcome back to Season 4, Episode 8 of Art of Beauty with me, Amanda Imani. And today we have a really cool guest. I have Isti in the house, everybody. Woo!
Everyone, thank you for having me.
Thanks for being here, Isti. Now, you recently told me that you are a full-time makeup artist as well as a content creator. Tell us a bit about what you do.
Okay, I'm a full-time makeup artist and also a content creator. I've been in this industry as a makeup artist for 8 years, and I think content creator too for 8 years too. And
Wait, you look so young.
Yeah, I started my makeup career since I was 15 years old.
Wow.
I know it's too early. And I don't know how my past client trust me back then. I was a child.
You were a child. But you did mention that your sister is also a makeup artist.
Yeah.
And you were inspired by her to also follow in her footsteps.
Yes.
So was it mainly because you saw the work that she did and you were also a very creative person, or how did that happen?
Okay, the reason why I started as a makeup artist is because back then I used to follow my sister all the time. If she have a job, I will follow her, I will assist her. And one day she was like, I think you can do makeup because I have she can see that I have the passion in that. And then one day she was like, I think you can do my makeup first. And she'll see, that time she see how I did. And she was like, I think you can do my bride's mom makeup. And because the bride's mom asked for it, and it just happened.
It just happened. Like you were right in it and you were right, right time, right place, I guess,
true.
right?
And then after I did some job, she started buying me like a full set of makeup artist products, makeup. And I was thankful to her actually. She was the one that actually pushed me to do this.
Was that always like in your, I guess, your aspiration to become a makeup artist, or what did you intentionally, set out to do, I guess, with your career?
Not really actually. Back then, it was just... Okay, the reason why I think I like makeup is because my sister exposed me to makeup at such an early age. When I was, I think, 7 or 8 years old. And then I like putting on makeup, but I don't really think that I can do makeup as my career. But when I was 15 or 16 like that, I always follow her, and then I saw that, I can do this as my career. I can do this to get money.
Yeah.
Then it just happened.
And I mean, now in like this day and age, makeup is such a big prominent part in our lives, right? You also mentioned that you also do content yourself. So I'm sure you try out so many different beauty products from, luxury to drugstore makeup. And since today's topic is luxury versus drugstore beauty, I want to know, all the secrets that you have, maybe that you've tried. And I guess, in a sense, like, how would you differentiate, drugstore makeup or beauty versus maybe mid-range to luxury beauty?
Okay, as people know, if you say drugstore, people know it is affordable option than luxury one. If you say luxury, people tend to pay higher price than the drugstore one. And I think that is like the difference about luxury and drugstore. Affordable and expensive.
And in terms of like maybe formulation or maybe application, do you think there's a difference, or does that play a difference, or is it very subjective?
Okay, back then, you can say that drugstore and luxury is very different, but now you cannot say that.
Right.
Because it is drugstore is really leveling up their game. They are like changing every day. It is always an upgrade in terms of quality, ingredients, packaging, and the ambassador itself. Drugstore is really leveling up their game. And luxury products are here just to prove themselves how their price is equally to their quality and their packaging itself.
That's true. So would you say, because I find this to be like, there's a big difference, I guess, when I first started buying makeup as a teenager myself. I found that a lot of drugstore products were a lot cheaper versus now. Because I know you mentioned price was one of the factors that differentiate drugstore and, luxury. But I find that, like, in Malaysia, at least, right? When I go into a drugstore, I expect to spend, X number of ringgit. But then I end up spending so much more than I expected because drugstore makeup is not that cheap to begin with anymore. So from, I guess, a consumer's perspective, like for me, I always find it, like, is it worth it for me to just spend, maybe, I don't know, 40, 50 ringgit extra and, get myself a mid-range product from, Sephora, for example. So what's your opinion on that? Do you think that, drugstore makeup is kind of becoming like a mid-range product brand price?
I think yes, because you can see that brands like Maybelline, L'Oreal, they are drugstore makeup, but they sell at quite a high price, I think. And it can be like very similar to luxury brand. For example, back then, Maybelline mascara was 20 to 30 ringgit, but now you can see it's 60 to 70 ringgit, right? Because I think that drugstore brands are really, really want to catch up with luxury brands in terms of quality. And I think it is not wrong for you to splurge on luxury makeup, but I think you should give drugstore makeup a chance.
Yeah.
Because it is equally good now. Because I myself, as a makeup artist, I use luxury brands for my base, foundation, powder like that. But in terms of eyeshadow, eye makeup, brow products, I use drugstore only. Because it is equally good.
Right.
Yeah.
And I also think because with like the expiry of products, right? Because sometimes like eye makeup products tend to expire faster as well. And so it would make more sense to, maybe not splurge on those items because you do have to replace them a lot faster as well. So like I personally find myself like also reaching for mascaras, especially from the drugstore, because I just find that, they do a better job. And a lot of times, like the ones from, higher end brands tend to, don't really meet my expectations for the price because you're paying a premium for what it is. So I guess what are some of the misconceptions that you've seen people have about these categories? Do you think like a lot of people tend to only buy luxury because they are trying to, I don't know, I guess appeal to maybe, a social status? Or do you think, certain people don't really have the means to sometimes necessarily splurge on a very high, expensive price point of a foundation? So what do you think are some of the misconceptions?
Some of the misconception I've usually heard is drugstore products are not good compared to luxury products. But it's actually not true, as I mentioned before.
Yeah.
And people always for me, people always buy luxury products because of the experience, the packaging, the brand. People buy that actually. Yeah. But drugstore products are not that. People who want to buy drugstore product, usually they just go to Watson's and there's no experience there. But if you buy luxury products, you go to their boutiques. There's a sales girls who attend to you, show you one by one of the products. So from there you buy the experience actually. Yeah. That's the difference. And actually for drugstore makeup now, the misconception is just that people always thought drugstore makeup is not good. But actually it is good. It is equally good. It is getting better every day. And I myself always opt for drugstore makeup first, then luxury makeup. Because I think if there's a product at drugstore makeup that is already good, why should I try luxury makeup and I spend more at that?
And I guess for you, like a makeup artist, you have to have a complete kit for every skin type, skin tone. And I suppose if for people who are like maybe starting out, it would make more sense to maybe purchase, drugstore products for their kit as well, right? So is there a difference, in your opinion, in the quality and effectiveness of these products that you've tried so far?
Okay, for my makeup kit, most of my base makeup such as foundation, setting spray, primer, and then concealer, powder are all from luxury brands, because I've tried several drugstore products, but I don't really like it because I think back then luxury makeup always emphasis on long lasting, on better finishing, suitable for many skin types and skin tone. But drugstore back then, it is not that. It was not that. And for drugstore makeup, I think if you want to try something that is not really suitable with your budget, you can go for that. But as for me, I always, for my base, I always opt for luxury makeup.
I see. I mean, that's really interesting the way you put it, because I think, people don't realize, like, if you're wearing foundation or base makeup, you have it on your face all the time. And now I think in 2024, we see a huge emphasis on, base makeup, like skin. It's always about like the skin looking glowy, natural, perfect, glass skin, glowy skin, clean girl beauty, aesthetics, and all that. So, your base and your skin plays a huge role, like more than 50% of the whole makeup look, right? So it's interesting that you say that it's important to maybe splurge on the right things, I guess, would be, the takeaway from that. Do you think there are any differences, maybe like the ingredients that are used that, make the price point what they are?
Okay, in terms of drugstore makeup, you rarely see them market their ingredients, right? Compared to luxury products.
Yeah.
If you go to brands such as Dior, Chanel, they will sell you the ingredients. I use this. I use niacinamide. I use propolis. But if you go to Watsons, you cannot see like what they are trying to sell you, such as ingredients. You need to check one by one by yourself. But compared to luxury products, they sell you that ingredients. And also, what I saw throughout my career, luxury products, they always cater to anti-aging problems. But if you see drugstore product, no. Not really. It is always makeup. But luxury products, they sell you skincare also. Skincare goodness from the makeup itself.
Right.
So that's the difference, I think, in terms of ingredients.
Okay. Yeah. Because I guess you're also paying for the ingredients that go in and the quality of those ingredients. A lot of times also, I think people see like a certain word, like when brands market, like you said, like niacinamide, for example. You don't know what percentage of niacinamide there actually is in a certain product, or what kind of grade of quality that niacinamide actually is. And so maybe like for people who don't know, like how does someone actually go through the ingredients and read through like what's important to see, and maybe ingredients that you kind of want to stay away from, like in base makeup, for example? Okay,
for base makeup, usually you can see at the ingredient list, the first ingredient that you saw is like the most ingredients that are in products. Contains the most. But if it is the selling point, the USP products,
right,
or the ingredients that they're trying to tell you, but it is like below, at the end. At the end of the ingredients list, it is like probably 1% or 2% inside the ingredient content.
Yeah.
So I think that is how people need to know. That's how people should know when you want to buy products that sell you some ingredients that they claim to be good to your skin.
Yeah. I think that's a really important tip, because not a lot of people know. They think, the ingredients list is just kind of like just a bunch of words. Like, everything in there is in the product. But I think it's also important to know that the percentage of each of these products are different, and the higher up it is, the more of that ingredient you have in the product. And I think it goes the same with like skincare. I know we mentioned makeup, but especially skincare, right? So I guess in a sense, like for we're talking about drugstore and luxury. What about skincare? What's your take on skincare from the drugstore versus luxury skincare? Okay,
for luxury brands, usually they will go through a very extensive research on ingredients. It takes a long time for them to actually come out with new products, because they go through the ingredients and what they use for the products really, really, they take it seriously for that. And as for drugstore, I think they are catching up actually.
Yeah.
Drugstore skincare are equally good. And as for luxury brands, I don't really know why they charge us at that such price. But as I said before, experience and how they treat their customer. If you go to drugstore or Watsons or Guardians or whatsoever, you are self-servicing yourself. You buy it yourself. You check it one by one by yourself. And I think that is what differentiate drugstore and luxury. But actually, if you want to say luxury right now, Sephora also, you go there.
Yeah.
It's just the same.
Right.
You go there, you check it one by yourself. But sometimes if you need the beauty assistant helps, you can ask for their help. But drugstore, no, you cannot have that.
Yeah.
Because I don't think the sales girls at the drugstore, Watsons, really know about that products compared to beauty assistant, beauty consultant at the luxury boutiques itself.
Yeah. So I guess people would have to do their own research, if they were looking for a specific product in the drugstore, for example, and kind of know like what you're looking for. So when you go into the store, you know what to look for, versus like if you go to Sephora, for example, or a department store or a boutique, you can kind of go in there, have an idea of what you want, and then, kind of narrow it down based on what the sales assistant has for you or is more catered to your skin type, for example, right? So that's pretty interesting. Do you have any examples maybe on situations where you've opted for, drugstore makeup versus luxury? I know you do a lot of beauty makeup on brides and stuff.
Yeah.
So have you ever had a situation where you feel like, you know what, this works better on most brides because of whatever reason, whether it's, eye makeup, palettes, mascara, setting
where
sprays?
I choose drugstore instead of luxury. Okay, I have that moment. I don't know if you know about this. Charlotte Tilbury has a very nice eyebrow mascara, like the very thin one.
Yes.
But it is very hard to get Charlotte Tilbury in Malaysia because it is not available in Malaysia. You need to go to Thailand or Singapore, or you need to buy through personal shopper. But after a while, I stopped using Charlotte Tilbury because it is very hard to get, and it is very, very expensive. And last year, I went to Bangkok, and then there's a brand called Nong Chat, which is a makeup brand produced by a makeup artist itself. So I give it a try, and I found like the exact same eyebrow mascara as Charlotte Tilbury.
Really?
And the price is only 20 ringgit, like that. It's a steal. And I tried it, and I love it. I never go back to Charlotte Tilbury anymore.
Because you can get like so many of that just versus with like one of the Charlotte
true.
Tilbury. That is great. I have to try that actually.
Yeah, you need to try
it. But what do you think of like makeup brands that are, founded by makeup artists?
Okay, in Malaysia.
In Malaysia, internationally?
Okay, in Malaysia, most of brands that are founded by makeup artists are good. Okay, for example, for lipstick, I never use I never use MAC or Tom Ford or what. I use Sadewa now. Or I don't know if makeup artists invented that products. It is because they know it's good.
Right.
They've gone through so many clients, so many makeup clients that have chapped lips, that has dry lips, and then of course if you do makeup for bride, you want the lipstick to stay longer on your lips, right? And I believe makeup artists, and I've tried it. Most of my lip products are from local Muas products, and I love it.
That's good, because I feel like you're also, contributing and supporting local brands that, again, have the experience and the knowledge that maybe don't get the same amount of recognition as, some of the big brands that you can see in drugstores and such. So in your opinion, are there any trends, I guess, that are more prevalent in drugstore products versus luxury? So like we see a lot of trends, right? On TikTok especially. And a lot of those things are going viral for a reason. So do you see it like, a lot of these trends becoming more popular because of drugstore products or luxury? I personally feel like it's a lot more drugstore.
Yeah, true.
Right?
Because you can see every time there's a new trend, drugstore products will come out with the new products instead of luxury products. Because if you take a look back, luxury products, they focus on timeless makeup, classic makeup products, not as drugstore makeup. If there's a trend about eyeliner that is colorful, you can see drugstore products are the one that will come out with the products.
And they're really quick too.
Yeah, they're really, really quick too. And luxury products, you cannot see that because I think they take the quality and the timeless and elegance makeup first rather than the trendiest makeup.
Yeah. And also I think that has to do a lot with the consumers. Yeah. Like who are what their clientele is. Like, I think drugstore makeup is usually catered to the younger crowd, for example, and maybe luxury makeup is catered to, more of a mature crowd. And because of that, maybe they don't really watch TikTok, or they don't really have Instagram, or they don't like to buy things online. Whereas, like, maybe, drugstore makeup, you can find it on TikTok shop, for example, and things like that. So it's a pretty cool thing because, social media has played such a big role, and it's constantly changing as well. And I feel like social media is changing the makeup industry, the beauty industry even. And would you say that, now consumers get to dictate like what brands come up with versus like back then, I feel like before the existence of social media, brands would just come up with products and then they would market it and people would see the ads and be like, yeah, I want that lipstick because it's appealing and you don't really have much options. Whereas now I feel like people have that platform to really research and do their background checks on, you know, if it's ethical, if it's vegan, if it's cruelty free, all these things. So do you think that, you know, consumers now play a big part, if not the main part, on how, you know, brands come up with products?
Yes, because if you see, there's like back then, I think until now, there's a movement where people list out a product, a brand that is cruelty free and which brands are not.
Yeah.
So people nowadays, consumers know what they want, and actually the brands itself will follow what the consumers want.
Yeah.
So that's played a very big role to the brands. And yeah,
it's also so competitive because, you know, they're always trying to outdo one another.
Yeah,
and they always want to obviously get the most, I guess, green flags from their buyers, especially. You know, you want to be vegan, you want to be sustainable, you want to be, you know, ethically sourced and all these different things. Like there's so many labels now, organic even.
Yeah, true.
And so people have like a huge range of options now. Which honestly, as a consumer, I really like that. And it's great that consumers have the power to dictate what brands actually come out with. Do you know, or do you have any, I guess, opinions on how accessible luxury products are compared to drugstore alternatives? I know you mentioned like the eyebrow gel that you have, and that's but then again, that's in Thailand. I don't know if Malaysia carries that brand.
You can actually buy that online. Yeah.
Oh, okay, cool. So yeah, accessible. Like it's really accessible online. So do you think a lot more luxury brands should be accessible online, or maybe through, you know, e-platforms and things like that?
Okay, in terms of accessible, drugstore makeups are more accessible than luxury brands because for those people who live outside of KL, where there is no Sephora, where there is no boutiques such as Dior, Chanel, Tom Ford, or whatever, it is very hard for them to get their hands to the products. But drugstore, you can go to Watson's Garden; they are available there. But in terms of accessible, I think luxury brands should just stay as they are now. Because I think if you really want that product, you should go there and experience it. Like I said, experience. And now there's online platform. You can buy it online. But the difference is experience.
Yeah.
If you go, like I said, like if you go to the boutique, you can get the experience. But that I think that is why we call it luxury.
You're paying for the experience and the service, you know, and that whole, you know, walking to the store, getting the samples, looking at the packaging, trying it on the back of your hand and all that.
You will appreciate it more, I think.
Yeah, I think that's what you're paying for, essentially.
That's why people, if they buy luxury brands, they will love it like a child, you know.
Like it's right there on the vanity front and center.
Yeah, if it's broken, they will cry like their heart out. But if drugstore makeup are broken, they don't
buy another one. Yeah, that's really funny. I guess what advice would you give to someone who's trying to maybe starting out in skincare or makeup? Like, would you recommend them have a bit of both, have a balance, or maybe just stick to drugstore until you know, maybe find like those hidden gems in the luxury world?
Okay, I think if you want to start, you should check out drugstore makeup first, drugstore products first.
Can't go wrong.
Because cleanser and moisturizer from Watsons and Garden are equally good. It is very, very good shade. I myself, I use cleansers, moisturizer are all from drugstore. And I think that I don't have any reason to splurge more on that because I found a very good one for me from drugstore. And by the way, if you want to try luxury brands, you should try drugstore first, and you should go through like reviews from people, from consumer, from customer on how they think about the luxury products before you buy them. Because I think I've encountered one time where I bought luxury products and I didn't do any research and I regret it, really, really regret it because I spent a lot of money but I don't really like it.
Yeah.
So yeah, you should try to mix both drugstore and luxury, and you'll see how if you are bored of your drugstore products, you should try luxury brands.
Yeah. I think it's important to have that progression, you know, and not to just go to the store and buy like 100 things. It's always important to maybe build your, you know, your kit or your collection slowly and to enjoy what pieces you actually have. So I guess what would you say to consumers who need to navigate like a vast array of different brands that are available to them? Like, how do they pick and choose, I guess, what is good? Do you think that, they should rely mainly on reviews and influencer opinions, maybe?
I think social media play a big role here. You can try to search influencers that have this skin type, this skin tone, and because nowadays people, there's a lot of influencer. You can check. This influencer have this skin type. This influencer have this skin type. So you can see if this one like it and this one like it too, then I think it will be good for you.
Yeah.
And if there's like a different, I think, different opinion about it, you can think first before buying.
Yeah, that's true. So I guess it's really important to always do your research.
Yeah.
It's really important
Review,
because, like you mentioned, there's so many different products, many different brands, and brands are constantly churning out new stuff. So sometimes it can be overwhelming if you're new to the beauty world, especially. Because even for me, sometimes I'm like, wait, what?
Yeah, true.
They have so many products coming out like week after week after week, and you just get like a bit like confused, like what should I try? What should I buy?
Because for me, I myself, I don't really follow trend. I use whatever I think it is good for me, and I think if the makeup style that time is okay, then I will stick to that product. I will not try new product unless I was invited to that event. And then I will get the chance to try it. But if not, I just stick to one product.
Okay. Where do you see drugstore versus luxury products in the next 5 to 10 years? Do you think luxury is going to outdo drugstore, or drugstore is going to come up to the level of luxury and, take over, for example?
I think drugstore is going to be really, really good.
Your team drugstore.
Not really team drugstore, but I can see that
a lot of potential.
Yeah, they are really, really good right now, and in terms of price, also really, really good. It is increasing day by day, and I don't think we can find a foundation back then that was from drugstore like 30 ringgit.
Yeah.
Now it is really, really expensive. I think that drugstore makeup is going to be really, really big in the future.
Okay.
Same as luxury products, but yeah.
But I guess the growth of luxury products, I feel like they're just kind of there. They're just kind of, and luxury products have like a big uprising trend of, buyers and consumers. So, it's up to you what you prefer and what you want. But I guess at the end of the day, always do your research on what you're trying to purchase. So before we end, is there anything you'd like, your listeners, the listeners here on this podcast to know, and maybe some tips, I guess, like on what they should look out for and not, maybe look out for to avoid, look out for to purchase when they are in the drugstore or in, a luxury setting environment?
Okay, for me, if you want to start buying drugstore and luxury products, I think don't really follow the trend. Because the new makeup are usually
temporary.
Temporary. And you should invest more on products that have high quality ingredients and that are proven to be very high quality. You can ask opinion from makeup artists, from influencers. I think makeup artists are the most, credible source for you to ask, because they actually try on different skin, different face shape, and you can know that it is true or not. And for those who want to start makeup, just start from below first. Start with drugstore first, because you will appreciate makeup more and more with that. If you directly just buy luxury brands, you will not have the I don't know how to say this,
the appreciation.
Appreciation towards our products, because from there, you will know which one is really, really good or which one is really just selling the brands.
Yeah, I guess in that sense, like you have a mental comparison on like, I remember this versus now that I'm using a more expensive product, I can really tell the difference, or vice versa. So thank you so much, Isti. It was amazing speaking to you and speaking to a professional makeup artist and a full-time content creator. We've learned so much from you. Really appreciate the time, you coming over to this podcast and sharing all your experience and your knowledge in the beauty industry. Once again, we'd like to thank you for watching Art of Beauty, and I will see you guys in my next video.